Welcome to Creature Con Live. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ethan. We're going to get into a mixture of different prehistoric and current animal news from around the world. And some articles might even be, or possibly even videos that we'll watch too, might be from much earlier in time and not recent. So let's throw up the first article. Okay, so from Sci News,
I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't wanna. Got it.
fossils reveal how early tetrapods walked. British researchers have reconstructed for the first time how a famous extinct animal, the early tetrapod called Ichthyostega, moved on land. I wouldn't call it necessarily a famous animal if you're looking at it just by the whole worldwide population. Most people have not heard of Ichthyostega. Whereas in the paleo community, it's likely, if you're at all familiar with amphibians from the late Devonian period, Carboniferous, or even the Permian period, so somewhere between 375 million years ago to about 252 million years ago, it's possible that you have heard or somebody of the paleo community has heard of Theostega. So this is one of the first tetrapods to evolve. And then later on, you would have animals like mammals, dinosaurs, birds, other types of reptiles that would emerge from this type of animal or animals similar to this tetrapod. So let's take a look at what they discovered. This is also a bit of an earlier article. It's also a bit of a funny model. Um, it's making it out to be extremely skinny, though I think it's because it's showing the skeleton as well. But even then, I think this Ichthyostega should have a lot more flesh or muscle to its core. And even the tail looks a bit bony.
I don't know what that tail looks like. It looks like it was an afterthought.
It's not, yeah, and even in terms of the structure, it should be, a bit longer or maybe a bit less of a fish-like fin because these animals are technically, more evolved lobe-finned fish, and its earlier relative Tiktaalik was even more so. So let's take a look. The study published in Nature examines limb mobility in the 360 million year old fossil tetrapod by reconstructing the first ever 3D computer model of its skeleton. It took almost 3 years of hard work on difficult fossil material, but we are finally able to see how the skeleton of Ichthyostega fits together and might have moved in 3 dimensions. This is very exciting as it allows us to examine how ancient vertebrates made the monumental transition from swimming to walking. It definitely took a while. It was not a quick, even random, well, you could say maybe it was somewhat random when it finally occurred, but it was not a quick um, transition from mostly fully aquatic or a swimmer to a terrestrial animal. Let's see. These many like former you could say documentaries, but even a lot of descriptions of how the transition from fish into finally an amphibian like animal, like it was shown as being relatively quick in evolution, and that's far from the truth. It took tens of millions of years. To test how the limbs of Ichthyostega moved, the team scanned dozens of fossil specimens and digitally separated the bones from surrounding rock. Each bone was then carefully put back together like a jigsaw puzzle in animation software and painstakingly manipulated to estimate each joint's maximal range of motion. Our reconstruction demonstrates that the old idea, often seen in popular books and museum displays of Ichthyostega looking and walking like a large salamander with four sturdy legs, is incorrect.